The Sacramento Kings are off to a hot start to their 2021 season, winning 2 of their first 3 opening week games. This was unexpected, as the Kings were predicted to be a bottom feeder yet again after an appalling offseason where they lost multiple key pieces for minimum return, but so far, that hasn't seemed to bother them. So, are the Kings legit contenders for the playoffs this season, or is this just a fluky start? Can they keep it up and make a real push for the 8th seed? I'll be looking at that in today's video, as well as deep diving into their recent performances and the key players making this elite start happen. Before we start, if you're new here and enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe for more NBA content like this. I'm trying to hit 16,000 subscribers, so all support would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, with that being said, let's talk about the Sacramento Kings. Despite the big loss to the Phoenix Suns today, the Sacramento Kings have started their season in quite impressive fashion. They've pulled off some fantastic upsets, and all 3 of the games that they've played in, they were considered underdogs, so to win the majority of them is just amazing. In their first game of the season, they came up against the Denver Nuggets and ended up winning in overtime on a crazy buzzer beater tip by Hield. Denver had many opportunities to put the game away during both the 4th quarter and overtime, but failed to make the most of them, which allowed the Kings to stay in the game and end up stealing the victory at the siren. The Kings guards played some fantastic defense, holding Murray to only 9 points on terrible efficiency, not letting him warm up after a typical slow start from him. Aside from Hield, there was no real major standout performance from this team in this game. It was just a great collective, all-around effort from the Kings, which you'll notice is a theme with them. In Game 2 of their 2021 campaign, the Kings had a tight battle against the Phoenix Suns, who themselves were also coming off a nail-biting win against the Mavericks prior. The Kings were able to keep the Suns stars in Booker and Paul at bay for parts of the game. These players still played well in this match, but the Kings were able to match their output to reduce the impact they had on the game. DeAaron Fox had a superb game this match, dropping a team-high 24 points and 7 assists, and he was helped out by some solid performances from his starters. It definitely wasn't the greatest performance from Sacramento. There were plenty of sloppy possessions and cold shooting stretches, evident from their 18 turnovers, but the Kings played good enough defense and good enough offense to get the win by 3 points. The Kings would again face Phoenix today and couldn't complete the back-to-back wins over them in 2 straight nights, but for 3 quarters of this game, the team played really well actually. Foul trouble did hurt the impact that the key starters had on the game, Fox and Bagley having 5 and 4 each respectively at 3-quarter time, and with Phoenix picking up momentum to finish the 3rd, the Kings just couldn't catch back up. The first half was tight again though, and there were flashes of brilliance from many of the Kings members, Hield having another impressive shooting performance at least to begin the game, but again, foul trouble, inability to stop the Suns downhill, and really defense in general hurt them today. But I'm not here to focus on the negatives today, because there were many upsides from that loss, and obviously Sacramento has won the 2 prior games to that. There's a lot going right for this team. But who have been the key pieces to the Kings' success so far? What players have been doing bits to begin the season that has allowed the Kings to play so well? The first player we have to talk about is DeAaron Fox. Fox has dominated early on this season, averaging 22 and 7 across 3 games so far. His offensive package seems to have developed further over the offseason, and with guys like Hield and Haliburton around him knocking down shots, his playmaking impact has seen pretty big improvements in the box score. DeAaron is also looking more comfortable with ball in hand and leading the offense regularly, but he's also been better than ever off the ball this season, which has created a lot of opportunities for himself and his teammates. Though today, Fox did have an off game, it's evident he's on the verge of taking yet another step upwards this season, and with that, the Kings could see improvement in their win percentage. I don't want to overhype him, it's just been 3 games, and he's really only been good to great in 2 of them. But to me, it seems like DeAaron Fox is ready and able to take that next step and become a true first option in the league. And I'm very excited to see how he plays out the rest of 2021. Another guy who's been great is Buddy Hield. Hield wanted out of Sacramento for a while, but with a bigger role with Bogdanovic out of the picture, he seems to be enjoying Sacktown better. Hield has been elite early on in 2021, especially his shooting from downtown, knocking down threes at a great clip over the 3 games, just under 40%. As we all know, he had that clutch tip-in against Denver to win the Kings the game, but that hasn't been his only highlight. Hield has been relatively consistent over the first few games. His efficiency and shot selection could improve at times, but he's knocking down threes well enough for me to consider him a key piece of this team. Hield is 28 years old now, or something like that. He's in his prime, so he's not going to get much better than what he is. With that said though, if he perfects his role like the Kings need him to, which is mainly being a knockdown 3-point shooter, I'm confident he can make a major positive impact on the Kings throughout this season. A player I've been a fan of and had some big expectations for is Tyrese Haliburton, and so far he's doing a good job at living up to my predictions for him. Haliburton's been good so far this season. Rough around the edges of course as an inexperienced rookie with little pre-NBA development once being drafted. But when he's been at his best, he's truly been something great for the Kings. His impact doesn't really show in the box score, but his fit next to DeAaron Fox is nearly perfect. They're such a well-fitted backcourt combo. Haliburton dropped 12 against Denver to begin his NBA career, and then an inefficient 4 against Phoenix, but his flashes of talent have been enough for me to remain high on his upside for the meantime. Haliburton's impact thus far hasn't been obvious in the box score, as I said, but from the 1.5 Kings games that I've deeply watched, his presence on the court is felt and makes the Kings a much better side. His defense, playmaking, and other offensive creation talents have been solid, and it's a positive sign for Kings fans of things to come. The final couple of players I want to briefly mention that have been playing well thus far this season are Harrison Barnes and Marvin Bagley. Both have had a couple of good performances early on and have made the Kings that much more unpredictable to defend. The good thing about the Kings is how spread this team is when it comes to offense. There's no big superstar taking all the shots. Barnes dropped an efficient 20 plus against Denver in the opening game and was hugely important in that win, but only scored 13 or so against Phoenix the other day, but he was still just as useful and impactful in that win. Marvin Bagley is finally starting to come into his own. He struggled with injuries the past couple seasons, but barring he remains healthy this upcoming season, he should be a mainstay in the starting lineup for Sacramento, and us NBA fans should finally see some improvement out of him. Expect averages of around 15 and 10 every night consistently from him. Once Bagley can expand his game out to the perimeter where he's a proper consistent threat there, it's just crazy to think about how good this core group could potentially be. DeAaron Fox, Haliburton, Hield, Barnes, Bagley, Richaun Holmes too. This is an exciting young core that can be built upon and turned into a serious playoff contender in the near future. On that note though, are the Kings actually playoff contenders right now? Could they actually sneak into the playoff picture this season, or are they still a couple of years away? Let's be honest here, they probably won't, but these opening games have been a good sign that they'll be better than expected. These aren't bad teams that they've beaten already. It's a Western Conference Finals team and a team with a star duo expected to make the playoffs who were red hot at the end of last season. This isn't like Cleveland, who've beaten Detroit and Charlotte. The Kings are beating contenders, not comfortably, but they are taking it up to them and being competitive, and that is surprising to a lot of people. With that said though, I think it would be just wrong to say the Kings are a playoff team after just 3 games. I don't want to jump to any conclusions. But what I can say after this stretch is the Sacramento Kings are fun, and perhaps a lot better than people gave them credit for. DeAaron Fox is looking good. The team is meshing well in their individual roles. The Kings are looking like an underrated contender for the 8th seed right now, and who knows, if things go their way, they may just take it once the end of the season is here. Don't sleep on Sacramento. Their young core has one of the biggest upsides across the entire league and could be looking to create some noise in 2021. This is a team to watch for sure, and one that I will be definitely keeping an eye on throughout this season. They are off to a great start to their 2021 campaign, and hopefully with today's video, I've shone a little bit more light on this underrated team. And that will conclude the video. What do you guys think of this? How good are the Sacramento Kings to you? Are they legitimate playoff contenders in your books? Let me know all your thoughts on them down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop it a like and subscribe. But with that being said, I am out. Peace.
Hey, Mobs, that sounds wavy.